It's time now for the Embrace Womanhood podcast with your host, Nurse Melinda Goodwin from Finish First Medical and the Integrated Healing Center in St. George, Utah. Melinda and her guest will be giving you the empowering information that you need to look good, feel good, and perform good. And now, here's your host, Nurse Melinda Goodwin.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Wendy. I have Wendy Wylde here, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you were here because you, my friend, are amazing, and you inspire me so much. And when you said you wanted to be a part of this, I was so excited.
Well, I was very excited with what you're doing. You're always cooking up good things, and that we actually get to collaborate. Woohoo!
I know. So we're doing this thing called Embrace Womanhood, and it is 2026, the year of the woman. I dubbed it the year of the woman because this is the year that women realize that they need to take control of their own health, their own world, and figure out what's going on. And in January, our first event is on the 8th and is Renewal and Foundation. And Wendy is going to be helping us with mindful intentions. Now, I have your bio right here, and I really want this to be more of a conversation than a Q&A, but I'm going to start out with some questions.
All right, let's see where it
just
goes.
to relax us. Too bad we don't have a little wine. Anyway, so Wendy is an energy healing practitioner and is amazing, a master teacher at breathwork, and is starting to do a program that's a 13-week program this year, and she's going to tell us all about all of those things. But first, I'm going to ask you a very detailed question. Are you ready?
Oh, no. I think so.
Okay. Wendy, going into the new year, the 2026 year of the woman, what would setting mindful intentions mean to you?
To me, setting mindful intentions means that I'm going to take some time to evaluate where I'm at and where I want to go, and then plot my course with intention, like using specifics, like not just, oh, well, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know, I've lived many years of my life where just hoping for good things, and sometimes good things happen when you just hope for good things. But I have found that when I'm more specific and intentional, that I get more specific results. And the mindful part of that is that you really think through, like, what is it that you want? So what are you after? Are you looking for more financial success? Are you looking for invigorated, healthy body? Are you looking for a new relationship? Are you looking to heal some past traumas? Like, what are you really wanting? What do you want? Why do you want it? And then how are you going to go get it?
Right, because we know that whatever we want, we can have, right?
Right.
I mean, I think that we forget that, but intuition-wise, we know that. We know that if I want this, all I have to do is step into it and get it. But sometimes it's scary.
And I think sometimes the harder question is actually, what do you want? Right? Like, we all know things like, very vague things like, I want happiness, I want love, I want abundance. Okay, well, what does that look like to you? What does abundance look like to Melinda? It's going to be different than what abundance looks like to Wendy, because we're all individuals. And so actually identifying what you really, truly want is sometimes the harder question.
I can tell you that when I lost my job at the hospital, I lost my identity. Like, I was a nurse. That's what I did. And when I was fired for reasons that were ridiculous, by the way, but I kind of, in my mind, I kind of deserved it. I wasn't the nurse that I wanted to be anymore. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
But at the same time, I lost who I really, truly thought I was. And then when my kids all graduated high school, it was like I lost my purpose in life.
Absolutely. Those are the kinds of big life events that I really am focused on helping guide people through. the big life-changing events, the things, some of them we choose, some of them we don't choose, and they just happen, and then we're sort of lost. And I know I've gone through some pretty wild changes in the last 5 years, like radical, like moved from Hawaii here 8 years ago. That was massive. My kids graduated, they moved out, I became a grandmother, I got divorced, I had a huge upheaval in my life with a faith, I wouldn't say crisis, because it never felt like a crisis, it was just an awakening, but like my identity, like you said, my identity, it shifts through all of those phases of life, and sometimes we lose our grounding, we lose our footing, and it's important to have people around us that help us feel safe while we're transitioning through those things. So helping remind us that we get to choose what's next. Right? Like maybe we didn't choose the circumstances that were thrust upon us, like you with your job being lost, but you certainly get to choose what comes next.
Right. And have the power to like purposely pick and choose.
Yes.
Not just go, my mom used to say, when it rains, it pours. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And it can pour out glitter instead of rain, right? Because we can choose, I don't want it to rain today. Or mindful to me is if I'm with a patient and we're talking about food, right? And I talk about mindful eating. The mindful to me is I've got this food and I'm going to eat it, and it may taste so amazing because I love food. But at the same time, I have to say, now, what is the intention of this? Is it going to nourish me? Is it going to fuel me? Is it going to give me the thing I'm desiring the most? And if the answer is yes, then we eat it. Or I say, is this worth 2 hours on the treadmill? And I will take one bite, let it savor in my mouth, and then think about that. If it's not worth 2 hours on the treadmill, I don't eat it.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yes, that's being mindful. There's a way to take even the mundane things of life and turn them into a ritual. That's mindful living to me, that when you are eating food, that you feel that gratitude. You take a paused moment before you put it in your mouth, and you have gratitude for the living beings that gave themselves for your nourishment.
Right.
Whether it's an animal or a plant, whatever you're consuming, for the people that all along the way made this food possible to you, like having that gratitude and that intention of, I'm putting this in my mouth, and consciously thinking of every ingredient and all the flavors that came together. That's mindful eating, that you're not just randomly grabbing whatever's handy from the Maverick and shoving it down your face so that you don't starve. And that can be applied to like everything in your life.
Yes.
The clothes you wear, getting dressed in the morning, how you drive your car, like how you walk, like, and you're tying your shoes, you can have like a mindful thought of like, I am grounding myself for this journey that I'm going to go walk ahead, whether you're walking from your living room to your garage, or you're walking around the block, or you're actually going to go on a long journey, a hike up a mountain. But having those intentions and the mindfulness in the simple daily living can become beautiful ceremonial rituals.
Yes, it can. Absolutely. I love that. And we were talking about, loss a little bit. When I left the church, I lost the only God I knew. Like, and that was a big step, and I purposely left, right? So that could be a whole nother.
How much time do we have?
I know, that could be it. Let's do another podcast about that. Holy crap. Okay. So if I came to you, Wendy, and I said, look, I'm stressed and I'm really worried about my situation or my journey, how can I calm my mind? We talked about mindfulness, but now let's talk about other things to utilize. What I did in COVID, it was big. I guess, can we say COVID? COVID. What I did was I self-reflected. I would sit in silence, and I would just say, okay, I'm safe. I have a roof. I have food. I'm healthy. I'm here. I'm breathing. And I just kind of just did a self-check. And that's how I get through my stressful situations now. But what would you say? What's a great way to calm your mind?
That's a beautiful example of a way to do that. I love that you did that during COVID. So many times when stress hits, we're about, I don't know, half a mile in before we even realize we're on that stress track. And the cortisol and the adrenaline are just like flooding our system. And then it's almost feels like it's too late. Like you're so far down that road. Like how do you reel yourself back from that? Like if you know you're stepping into something that's going to be stressful and before the stress hits, you can be prepared, that's amazing. But most of the time when stress hits, you're not ready for it. That's what makes it stressful, is it's a surprise. And it kind of piles on. Like it's not one thing. It's the traffic and you're late and the phone call and the crying kid in the back seat. It's all happening at the same time. And then where's your bandwidth to like, oh yes, I remember that I have a list of tools. No, that doesn't really happen. So it needs to be something very simple and easy in those moments. And your breath, that's where I have really found the most success for myself, is because it doesn't require a whole lot of thinking to take a deep breath.
Right.
And most especially when you're stressed, is to focus on the exhale. Because when you're under pressure, when you're under stress, like for example, you're being chased by a predator, like a bear is after you, you don't have the luxury of an exhale. You're just like sucking that air in and running for all it's worth. And your brain is like, yep, stress, stress, stress. But if you can do a slow exhale, that will signal to your nervous system, oh, well, we must be safe because we're doing this long, slow exhale. And we don't do that if we're under threat. So if I can just get myself to do a slow exhale and try to make that exhale as slow as you can, it's going to calm you down really quick. It's going to signal to your nervous system, oh, we must be safe. And then you can start to think and employ some other tactics and find other ways to ground yourself and all of those things. But first thing first, you got to get your nervous system back online, and taking control of your breath is, in my opinion, the easiest and the simplest way to do that.
Okay, so let's do something.
Okay.
Let's teach everybody that's watching one simple exercise that you would say is like the easiest thing to do and remember.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
So there's lots of things. The first, just the slow exhale. And as a test, if you try to exhale and you can only exhale for like 2 seconds, you're mega stressed.
That's a test?
Yeah, like, well, not a test, but it's a telling signal that your body's
in fight or flight.
In fight or flight. So just try to do an exhale right now. How long is your exhale?
I don't know.
Take a deep breath in and then exhale out as slow as you can. You're pretty relaxed. That's awesome. You're a pro at this. You're amazing. But if you find yourself in like a really tense conversation or something, your exhale will be like, okay, you're stressed. So there's a breath pattern that some people call it 4-7-8, 4-7-9, the cadence of bliss. What you're basically doing is an inhale for the count of 4.
Okay.
And then you hold it with full lungs for a count of 7. And then you exhale for a count of 8 or 9. So what you're trying to do is double the amount of time you're exhaling from the time you're inhaling and the hold in the middle. And that will shift your nervous system out of fight or flight. And it'll bring your prefrontal cortex back online so that you can start making rational decisions and choices. And you might need to do it 2 or 3 times.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
Well, but you don't want to do it for like a half an hour.
Okay.
That's too much. If you're still mega stressed after doing that 3 or 4 times, you might need to do something else.
Yeah.
Like take a walk or
situation.
Scream and yell. Like making noise on the exhale also helps. So like when you hear people humming and they'll like hum it out, like you're stimulating your vagus nerve when you do that. Okay. And it's releasing tension. So we're going to do 5-7-8.
Okay.
So I'm gonna count it for you.
Okay.
Because you don't want to hear me counting while I'm trying to breathe. It's just messy. It's weird.
Okay.
So we're gonna inhale for the count of 4. Okay. So in, 2, 3, 4. Now hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now exhale slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I was supposed to go
Yeah,
like that, right?
Yeah, just slowly let it out. So
I
you're
couldn't
not
hold
just
my
like
breath that long.
you couldn't hold your breath for the count of 7.
No.
Oh, see, that just tells you have a place to spend a little time working.
I have to be a little more thankful.
Mm.
Because you know when you do meditation, you take a deep breath.
Yep.
You inhale like your worries. You say thank you, thank you, thank you, and then you exhale what you're looking for. Like I'm inhaling stress. Thank you for the stress. I love you for being here. Now you can leave, and then you exhale calm.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to be a little more thankful.
Or maybe you just need a little practice.
Okay.
And give
I
a little
like that one
have
better.
have some grace for yourself. It's something new. When we do something new, it's not necessarily hard. It's just new. You need
Okay.
practice.
All right.
Like you're an athlete.
Yes.
The first time you ever picked up a softball, were you
Oh, it was-
perfect?
No. There was no perfection.
But you're pretty amazing at it now.
I like to think so. Some
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did it get there? Practice.
Yeah.
Practice. So one way that I love to have that gratitude that you were talking about is to, on the inhale and the hold, the breath hold, is get your lungs as full as you can get them. And how can you feel anything but abundance, right? Like
True.
you have all the
I see.
air your lungs can hold, and you're still surrounded by more air. Like there is never that shortage. Like, oh, I am abundant. I live in absolute abundance. I'm surrounded by abundance. And when you hold with your lungs full of air, and sometimes it gets too much to hold, and you have to exhale eventually. So that's just to me, that's a really great way to be mindful about abundance and gratitude.
That's a better way to. I like that better. I'm going to change my attitude.
Try other things. Try things. I think that's like been my message through my whole journey of transformation and through all of these identity shifts that I've experienced is getting out of judgment and staying curious.
True.
Because you could take anything that happens and make it mean something about you. Like you're not a good nurse. Not true. You're a fabulous nurse. That situation needed to shift. And stay curious. Okay,
Right.
so why did it shift? And what could I possibly do next? And now that I have all of this freedom with my time that's now free that I had none of,
Right.
now what do I want?
I just read a book, the similar thing. He said when you're in a situation of a disease state, like you just get diagnosed with something, the very first thing you need to ask yourself is, why are you showing up now?
Yes.
What in my life led me to this, and why are you showing up now? And sometimes it's emotional.
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily a fact that our body has gone array. It's because we've held some emotion in, and it has caused the cells or has caused issues. So, from the Western side of medicine, we'll treat the symptoms,
correct.
which most people don't realize that most medications are to treat symptoms, not to treat the cause. And so what is the cause, and where does it come from? Why now?
Yes, excellent questions. I've done a lot of studying in this area as well. As I've moved through my own challenges, I wanted to understand why, not just deal with the thing, whatever that thing is. Like I really wanted to understand, like, how did I get to this point, and what is truly the underlying cause? And there's an amazing book called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And that's true. Like all of the traumas that happen to us, all the emotional things that we stuff down, that we don't process because we don't have the skills, the ability, the safety, the time, the maturity, whatever at the time, it's in our body somewhere.
The knowledge.
Like that knowledge of what happened to us, it's not nothing.
Right.
And even the things that happen to us before we're pre-verbal, when we're children, those things are stuck in our bodies. And when do they come up? Sometimes they come up when it's just hit, like it's too much, right? Like we've got the bucket is full and it needs to dump. And sometimes they come up, at least this has happened for me, when I'm finally in a place of safety where I can process those emotions.
Right.
Like those emotions were too much for my emotional maturity when they were happening. But now I'm in a place of safety. I'm in a place of understanding. I have support. I have the ability to. And so my body says, we're going to let this present now because you can handle it, and we're going to move it. We're going to shift it and heal it.
So, and then that comes that whole saying, oh my gosh, like God only gives you what you can handle. Right? At that point, because you're like, I just felt safe, and now this crap is coming. What is going on? But that makes more sense to me.
Right. Like when you're a child, if you have a traumatic event happen, like say your parents are in a car accident and you don't understand the context of what's happening to you, but you feel the physical trauma of your body being in a car accident, and you feel the emotional trauma of the fear of your parents, but you have very little mental context with which to process that.
Right.
But you may grow up and have a fear of cars or highways or trees
or
colors that feels very irrational. But when you are able to be in a place of safety and more maturity, you can go, I've been triggered by the color red my whole life. I realize now that's because we ran into a red truck, and I have this image in my mind, and now it makes more sense. And then you can process that trauma, and it moves through you.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so we're out of time because
what?
I know.
How?
We could stay here for hours. Could stay here for hours and just chat about life. Yeah. Tell me, how can I get a hold of you, or if I'm interested in your program? Tell me a little bit about your program.
So what I'm shifting my life. I'm doing a really big life change, identity shifting myself. I'm moving out of a job I had for 7 years back into being self-employed and doing my own thing, but I'm doing something so expansive and so incredible. It's very different than what I've done before. It's employing all the things I've been learning and all of the things I've been experiencing and helping shift my life, and I'm sharing it with others. So I'm going to be the hand that I wish I would have had to hold me, to hold you through all of these big life upheavals, using the breath work, using energy healing, using trauma-informed psychological information, like all of the things, all the tools I've learned. And I've created a 13-week program. And every week we have experiences together. We have processes together. I teach you skills. I teach you different ways of looking at what's happening and help you create the future that you choose, creating your future with intention. Very often we've gotten to where we're at by happenstance, accident, whatever. We've just sort of tripped along and life has happened to us. And I think it's about time that we take the initiative and create our life on purpose.
Yes, agreed. And there will be more about that at our event on January 8th.
Absolutely.
At the Embrace Womanhood, because that is Wendy's topic, is mindful intentions for January's renewal and foundation. 2026, the year of the woman. I'm so excited. How do we find you? Tell me your website and your phone number.
I'm all over social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm Wendy Wylde. My last name is spelled Wylde. And I have a website that is wildeatheart.com. So WYLDE@heart.com. And I have a list of upcoming events where I'll be at, where I'll be speaking or leading breath work. And I'll keep that updated. But if you want to engage, find me on Instagram, Wylde at Heart, Wendy Wylde. I'm not hard to miss.
Okay, now that brings something up, though. Like, what if I don't live in St. George, Washington area? Like, can you do this on Zoom?
All the time. I lead breath work on Zoom every week with a group, and I'm expanding that all the time. The 13-week program will all be on Zoom. Does not matter where you live. Energy doesn't know geography.
I love that. I love that. So much healing just through telepathic thoughts and feelings. It's
Absolutely.
Crazy. So crazy.
And connecting with each other.
Yes. Amen. And that we need more of that, because I think we're losing that. Our kids are losing that.
I think COVID did a doozy on us, where we felt like we needed to toughen up and just hang all on our own. Yeah,
I'm very grateful for some of the things that happened through that, because I think we also discovered our own voice, and a lot of us are taking our health in our own hands, which needs to be not blindly followed.
100%.
Yes.
But
Okay.
connection is key.
Connection.
So come see us in person
Yes.
and connect over Zoom or phone or social media,
Yeah.
all those things.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Wendy. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Me too.
And you can find our event on Eventbrite. It's under Embrace Womanhood. And if you follow us on social media, we're all over the place marketing this. But I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
It was awesome. Oh my God.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Embrace Womanhood with Nurse Melinda Goodwin and her special guests. We'll see you again next time with the empowering information you need to look good, feel good, and perform good on Embrace Womanhood.